And you're on the proper side of the country. A good morning. Good morning. Continuing off from the PlayStation State of Play thing. Yeah, there's a couple of... I thought there was 3. I could only find 2. Maybe it was only 2. Maybe I was just mixing up a couple of articles in my head. I don't know. I should have... I had the pen and paper right in front of me. I should have written down the notes. But hopefully this is one of today's little things. Hopefully things being, I guess, kinda maybe according to plan. We should be doing I forgot to switch streams, or I forgot to switch scenes. That's my bad. I can look at the capybara instead of that. But yeah, Fallout later today. But today we're going to be looking at some articles mostly regarding PlayStation, the things that like the well, I might as well show them, why not. Let's see, make sure my volume is it's about as low as it can get. It's fine. Well, it's fine to have a little bit of background. So a couple things that immediately caught my eye, but then it's like, okay, so the headline grabs, and you're like, you don't click on the article. You try, and at this point, you see a clickbait thing. You're like, no, let me try and think about this. What do they mean? One of the first things that had kind of appeared. I should have like background. Okay, whatever. Producer notes that I just have to say out loud, because if not, they don't materialize. The first thing the first kind of wave of this I saw was like PS5 misses sales performance according to the last holiday season, and so it's like someone at Sony says the PlayStation 5 is entering the latter stage of its life. So the alarm bells started going off, like PS5 is dead. And within a very short time frame, I also get this article. Sony, now I could have sworn this said 2026, but no, it's not. It's just, but basically, it's Sony will not release any new major Sony not releasing any games for like a year is basically the title, and that one's like Sony not releasing any. Okay, so immediately it's like, okay, so immediately what comes to mind is the first party. What is defined as first party is kind of loose, I guess, because there's definitely, like, it's not PS5 is not going to have no games for the next year, obviously. It's just the big ones, the big exclusive titular releases that aren't going to be coming out for a while. This is something that I probably could have done more research into, but you know what? Since we're already on this one, let's start with this one, because they kind of coincide. They kind of go hand in hand, maybe. Probably, actually, not really. This mostly has to do with just like dev time. So might as well pause the music, even though we only had a few seconds left in that song. Sony has said it will not release any major existing PlayStation franchise games before April 2025. So it's kind of the fiscal year. Fiscal years do not. It'll explain it, but fiscal years are not calendar years. Fiscal years run April through March of a year. So whenever you hear things, and whenever we're watching like game shows, like such as like what used to be E3 before it died, any of these Xbox conferences, PlayStation conferences, when they say Q1, that's like April to what's 3 months? April, May, June. So that'd be like Q1. So it's always off about 3 months by the calendar year. So I don't know. If you're faster at it than I am, you can probably do that a little bit faster. Returning to the article, in a financial call, Sony Interactive boss Hiroki Totoki, I don't know how to pronounce that, ruled out big new games in the God of War and Spider-Man series during the company's next fiscal year, which ends March 31st, 2025. So no, I also don't think this excludes DLC. I don't think this excludes DLC. This is this is basically just big games, the biggin games. So and those are, I think at this point those are your kind of two, because they're made by Sony Santa Monica, I want to say. So that's the thing. So even something like, I think, as much as Last of Us is tied to, like that is clearly a Sony franchise. That is clearly a PlayStation thing. I'm fairly certain that Naughty Dog is not a Sony per se studio, but it's like that weird delineation. It's like second party. Whereas you think something like maybe not Bethesda anymore, depending on how things shake out. Um, but like Bethesda is definitely third. It would probably be considered third party. Insomniac is also what I want to say, like a very primarily. So Insomniac makes like Ratchet and Clank for me, and then some other games. I forget who makes the but it's to say that, there is no there. It's not that no games are going to be coming out. It's just like it's a little it's just one of those things, like things aren't what they seem. Totogi said, regarding first party software, we aim to continue, returning the article, by the way, we aim to continue to focus on producing high quality works and developing live service games. While major projects are currently under development, we do not plan to release any new major existing franchise titles next fiscal year, like God of War Ragnarok, Marvel Spider-Man 2. This all seems like a journalist. Um, when you have to read, this is so 2, 3. I'm not even counting this as a paragraph. What is this, like subheader or whatever it is? If only I had a journalist to help me. But so this is title, subtitle, leading, something like that. So those are two paragraphs. Let's see. Totoki comments appear to rule out everything from a Ghost of Tsushima sequel to a Horizon sequel. I don't. Hmm. So this is where things get murky for me. Isn't Ghost of Tsushima? Isn't that a Team Ninja? Isn't that like a Ninja Theory? I'm gonna have to look that one up particularly. Horizon, though, I completely neglected. Like I didn't even think about Horizon. But it's only 12 months, I guess. And I say that as like I'm just dying for like the next Obsidian pseudo, not Skyrim, but Skyrim with guns game to come out like in August, and like I like, man, that's only, heck, that's 6 to 8 months. So I mean, hey, there's that, but still, even Final Fantasy. So I see this is because in the hyperlink text, I see, the blue text is Final Fantasy 7, and I'm like, well, that's also third party because that's Square Enix. Um, I completely forgot about Horizon. Is Horizon a Sony Santa Monica? This clearly doesn't mean on DLC. This doesn't exclude the possibility of DLC, I'd say, but you never know. However, Sony will of course release new first-party games for the console from new franchises such as Haven Studios' Fair Game and Firewalk Studios' Concord, and as well as non-major franchises. There's also scope to continue to release remakes. See, this is why is this going to be the year of remakes for Sony? So now see, I also, man, I don't know how Sony released The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 2, which I'm pretty sure came out on PS5 consoles, remastered. Man, Sony, y'all, or Sony gamers. I blame this one on the gamers. I don't know. Druckmann? Can I blame Druckmann and gamers? Gamers not. Oh, why would you do this? How could you do this? I should Someone approve that. Someone approve that. Which is not cool, but anyways. And it seems like other PlayStation 4 games will get similar treatment. The year of remasters. Meanwhile, Sony's pushing hard on so-called second-party games to help flesh out the PS5. Okay, so this is what I was understanding. To help flesh out the PS5's upcoming exclusive games list, it has secured Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as a timed PS5 exclusive. Speaking of which, Final Fantasy, what is it, 16? That should already, I guess that's going to remain PS5 exclusive. I feel like the timed exclusivity should have already, I heard 6 months, but I don't know. As well as eye-catching action games Stellar Blade and Rise of Ronin, all of which are due out during 2024. Totoki's comments after Sony confirmed PS5 sales had failed to meet expectations. Okay, so that goes, that'll lead us right back into the immediate to the first article. Despite aggressive promotions, Sony had set itself an ambitious target of selling 25 million PS5s during the current financial year. So that would mean from April 2023 to March of this year. It would be that financial year. But after selling 8.2 million PS5s in the third quarter, so December. Interesting. So why is my TV sending auto bright? Up from 7.1 million sold in the same quarter during the previous. Sony has now revised its full forecast to 21 million, 4 million short. 4 million PS5 short. Interesting. So that was more information than I was expecting. Okay, so let's switch over to the kind of like the first article that I think that had said that had entered my thing, and that's kind of will lead into the final article, final concluding thoughts and stuff like that, particularly about this console generation. And just to give you the pitch now, I think this generation of consoles was a giant waste of silicone time, and I just did not it was not groundbreaking. So this is from February 15th. So we're okay. Hey, this is from yesterday. So I'm kind of current. Oh, posted February 14th, updated. Okay, so I'm only 2 days behind on the pitch on this. After sales of the PlayStation 5 failed to meet expectations, Sony has said the console is entering the latter stage of its life cycle. So this is so as it was pitched to me, because obviously the clickbait, I think we kind of, to kind of reiterate, like the first half of this is like PS5's dead is kind of the impression. Like it's like the first thing you get. Sony had said, okay, so we already read that in the last paragraph. This is, God, I hate journalists. So this entire paragraph is basically is just copy and pasted into the article that we just read right now. When was this posted? Let me see. Same day, 1:54 a.m. Hold on, let's see which came out first. Oh, someone was on a deadline. Let's see. According to Bloomberg, Sony Senior Vice President Naomi Matsuoka said the company now expects the sales pace of the PS5 to start falling from the next fiscal year, which begins and remains from April this year to 2025. Looking ahead, PS5 will enter the latter stage of its life cycle. Matsuoka is quoted as saying, "As such, we will put more emphasis on the balance between profitability and sales. For this reason, we expect the annual sale pace of PS5 hardware will start falling." What? Did I get double? So this is a summary and then direct quote. I hate journalists. The PS5 launched November. I don't. By the way, the PS5 that you couldn't find. So I saw a comment somewhere, like when I was trying to find the third article. It's like, before you couldn't find a PS5, and now they're just sitting on shelves. It's kind of interesting. And I wish I in hindsight, I should have brought the articles from like there was like something about PlayStation 5, like why PlayStation 5 hasn't gone like down in price. Like I think Xboxes are down $50 each. So Series X is now 450 to from 500, and I think a Series S is like 250. Like I think you might be able to get them as low as like sub 300 when they were like 350. Let me call for a second. Let's see. This November, the console turns 4 years old, and Sony now saying it's entering the second half of its life cycle. Thoughts will inevitably turn to the next generation and the PS6. In this, well, let me see. We only got like one more paragraph. Okay, let's read the last article, the last of this. Okay, so one game that may be set to for the PS6 as launch. Oh, okay, so this is about Hideo Kojima's tactical espionage. I should just read it. As launch is Hideo Kojima's return to the action espionage genre, Fizzant. Is that a play on physical intelligence? Kojima said work on the game is expected to begin in earnest at Kojima Productions after Death Stranding 2 and in partnership with Sony, which is not Kojima Productions is I actually don't know if Kojima Productions would actually be counted as first party or so-called like second party to Sony. Death and in partnership with Sony. Death Stranding 2 has a 2025 release window, and based on Sony's latest comments, probably won't come out before April 2025. Fizzant wouldn't even be expected until 2026 at the earliest, possibly. I'm gonna say 2027. I'll shoot my shot right here, saying that game comes out in 2027. Oh my god! I don't even know how this TV is detecting when to. Extra factors. Doesn't matter. The PS4 came out November 2013. It's 10 years after the PS4, folks. It'll be 4 years. The PS5 came out 7 years later. Wow, I hate journalists. I hate that's some lazy writing. That's see that? You see these last sentence, 2 sentences and a half are just to pad out the article. That's all those were. Anyways, relating to this, I saw stuff, rumors about like a PS5 Pro. Don't even bother. Don't even bother with a PS5 Pro. And maybe we should just look at this article. So from The Verge, Microsoft teases ultra powerful next gen Xbox and maybe a handheld. So we'll read this and then kind of before I go ranting and hollering and raving. Microsoft is teasing the potential for unique Xbox hardware in the future and powerful next-gen console, which I don't even like that we're discussing. It kind of ties into why the last article is like it kind of peeves me, but it's like, oh my god, I do not want to hear about next-gen discussions yet, and also like Nintendo Switch 2, but I don't know that I'm kind of interested in that, but that's not here nor there. 4 previously exclusive Xbox games are officially coming to PS5, so that's a plug for another article in an official Xbox podcast today. Xbox President Sarah Bond teased that Microsoft will deliver the largest technical leap with the next generation Xbox. I don't want to hear it until we get something VR related. I don't even want to hear about mobile. I don't want to hear about mobile gaming. I want to hear about VR and augmented reality. So that's probably a quote. Microsoft, speaking to The Verge, Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer went a step further, teasing that Xbox hardware teams are thinking about building different kinds of hardware. I'm very proud of the work the hardware team is doing, not only for this year. It kind of makes sense that they're already R&Ding the next console, but I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it for another 2 years minimum. We're really thinking about creating hardware that sells to gamers because of the unique aspects of the hardware. That's a nothing burger statement. It's kind of an unleashing of the creative capability of our hardware team that I'm really excited about. Perhaps that unique hardware is an Xbox handheld. We see a lot of opportunity in different types of devices, and we shall say it better be VR. You've missed the boat by not having VR. There have been persistent rumors on an Xbox handheld, and Spencer's been liking posts on X that mention the possibility of this. I'm a big fan of handhelds, Xbox. It better not be a handheld. I'm a big fan, but nothing to announce. He does admit that there's still a lot of work to do on the Windows side for handheld gaming PCs. One of the weak points in the experience on an ROG or the Lenovo Go is Windows. How Windows works on controller input only on that kind of DPI. That's nerds. That's nerd. On a smaller 8 or 7-inch screen, that's a real design point that our platform team. 8 or 7-inch screen is probably too big. Like that Switch OLED, I think is 7 inches, and I think that's too honking big. And honestly, I think the Nintendo Switch regular is kind of a little too big. The Nintendo Switch Lite is too small. There's a middle ground there somewhere. Before the next generation Xbox and potentially even a handheld, it sounds like the leaked diskless Xbox Series X, a new controller might still be a thing. We have a robust and innovative multi-year hardware roadmap, including more console controller options for you this holiday. That's kind of the news. I do not like this one. I was thinking about it because I was looking at PS5 right before PS5 prices. I was like, oh, is PS5 is PS5 gone down in price? I was looking. And I was reminded that the PS4. I was reminded again that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X at least are supposedly supposed to be these 8K capable devices. And I was really so we're currently struggling. And honestly, I don't know what the deal is. I don't. Maybe it's because Xbox Series S. And maybe if I had waited and just held out and gone to PS5, I'd be more informed about the PS5. But I think the PS5 kind of did it right. I think the PS5 did having one set of hardware essentially to work with. Like the PS5 is the PS5. It's not like the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Where they have different GPUs. But we're out here still trying to, for some reason, whether it's the hardware, whether it's the CPU, whether it's the game programmers, whether it's management, making game developers pushing out games too fast, whether it's game developers just don't know how to do things anymore, or something or the other. But we're not even at 4K ray tracing 60 FPS on games as standard. We're supposed to be doing 4K 120 hertz, and like studios like DICE can't even do Battlefield 2042 at 4K 120 hertz for some reason. Call of Duty can, but I'll admit, like playing it in 4K 120 is like the graphics do suffer. And somehow on the side of the box, on the side of all these boxes, these things are supposed to be able to produce an 8K image. And I have a feeling it's got to be like the old Xbox One S, where it has 4K on the side, but it's like, well, it's actually the Blu-ray player inside can do 4K. Something tells me that maybe after all this time, I probably should have looked into it. But I feel like they said that these games are like these consoles are supposed to be, at least with Xbox, this console is supposed to be able to produce 8K, probably 30 FPS. But we're not at 4K 120. We're just I have a feeling we're not. I think PS5, a couple of PS5 games are better. They have a. I actually think they have it. They have a couple games out now that are like 4K 120 hertz. But but they're also exclusive. So I mean that makes sense. So all of a sudden, so I don't want to hear no PS5 Pro I don't want to hear about an Xbox Series X Pro. I want to hear about games on the current generation hitting 4K 120 hertz with ray tracing. This generation, with the exception of maybe PlayStation 5, if they go even harder with PlayStation VR 2, is might have just been a wash. Might have just been an entire wash. I don't know. I'm feeling. I don't know what it takes, what it's gonna have to be, but for some reason, video games as is, just they don't. You just don't hit the same. I can still have fun with games as they are now. They're still good games now, but maybe just the experiences that I'm looking for. And I think VR has just kind of spoiled me, but I really think it's just like, nah, I think I had to just go all in on VR. Do something like that. Cause these games not doing it. Alrighty. Is that it? Is that all I have? I think that's all I got, folks. I think that's all I have. Otherwise, we'd just be sitting and ranting here in a circle. So, in conclusion, like, no, the PS5 is not. PS5 ain't over. It ain't over, but you know, there's gaming. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I still think that not redesigning the controllers is like one of probably one of the, like, if we had more controllers, we had like 2, 3, 4. If we had like 4 more buttons and like a 12 button dedicated D-pad on these controllers, like what I feel like are very simple inclusions, could open up a little bit more what the developers are able to do. But I don't know. I don't even know if it's the developers anymore. Alrighty. That's it. I will hopefully see you all later on today, at least if you're watching in order. Fallout Friday, hopefully. And I will see you all next time, at the very least. I'll see you all next time. We'll see. Ow. Play my music. Play me out. Hindley Street Country Club. Bye-bye. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on, I'm talking.